Let me tell you something today. There is power in kindness, but there is also power in wisdom. And when we confuse being nice with being weak, we give away the power God has placed inside of us. Some of us have been taught that being nice means turning the other cheek endlessly, sacrificing our peace, and allowing others to take advantage of our good nature. But I'm here to tell you that being nice without boundaries is not kindness. When you're dealing with a narcissist, they don't see your kindness as a gift. They see it as an opportunity. They see it as a green light to manipulate, control, and drain you of everything you have to give. And the more you give, the more they take. But you were not created to be someone's doormat. You were created to stand in your God-given authority, to walk in truth, and to protect the light within you. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to healthier relationships. They are a declaration that you value yourself enough to say, this is where I end and you begin. And let me tell you, boundaries are not unkind. Boundaries are love in action, because when you set boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself. You're teaching others how to treat you. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is to show them that their behavior is unacceptable. So what do? Instead of being nice to a narcissist? You stand firm in your truth. You stop seeking their approval. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop pouring your energy into people who will never pour back into you, and you start redirecting that energy towards your own growth, your own healing, and your own purpose. I know it's hard. I know it feels uncomfortable to say no when you've been conditioned to say yes. I know it feels unnatural to prioritize yourself when you've been taught to put everyone else first. But let me remind you, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot fulfill your purpose if you're constantly drained by people who don't value you. But when you pair it with wisdom, it becomes unstoppable. Be kind, but be wise. Be loving, but be discerning. And remember, you are not responsible for fixing people who refuse to fix themselves. You are responsible for protecting the gift that God has placed within you. I challenge you to rise up, to reclaim your power, to stop being nice at the expense of your peace, and to start walking in the boldness and authority that you were created for, because when you do, you will not only protect yourself, you will inspire others to do the same. And that, my friends, is how you truly change the world. True kindness comes from a place of strength, whereas people-pleasing is often rooted in fear or insecurity. It's important to understand that while kindness is a virtue, people-pleasing is a behavior that stems from a need for validation or acceptance. Many people confuse the two, believing that constantly saying yes or accommodating others is an act of kindness. However, this mindset often leads to self-neglect and emotional exhaustion. When you operate from a place of people-pleasing, you're not truly being kind. You're sacrificing your own needs, desires, and boundaries to gain approval or avoid conflict. This is not the same as genuine kindness, which is rooted in self-respect and a desire to uplift others while maintaining your own sense of worth. Kindness is an intentional act that comes from a place of abundance. It's the ability to extend grace, compassion, and understanding to others without expecting anything in return. It's about giving because you want to, not because you feel obligated to. People-pleasing, on the other hand, is often a reaction to fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, or fear of conflict. It's a way of seeking external validation to fill an internal void. This behavior can become a pattern where you constantly prioritize others' needs over your own, hoping that your self-sacrifice will earn you love, respect, or acceptance. But in reality, it often leads to resentment, burnout, and a loss of self-identity. To break free from the cycle of people-pleasing, it's crucial to recognize that your worth is not determined by how much you do for others or how agreeable you are. Your value is inherent, and you don't need to prove it by overextending yourself. Setting boundaries is a powerful way to reclaim your sense of self and differentiate between kindness and people-pleasing. Boundaries allow you to give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. They enable you to say no when necessary and to prioritize your own well-being without guilt. You understand that it's not about being liked by everyone. It's about being authentic and aligning your actions with your values. You can be kind and still say no. You can be compassionate and still hold others accountable. You can extend grace without allowing yourself to be exploited. This balance is what separates kindness from people-pleasing. It's the ability to give without losing yourself in the process. Learning to distinguish between kindness and people-pleasing is a journey of self-awareness and growth. It requires you to examine your motives and ask yourself why you're saying yes or going out of your way for someone. Are you doing it out of genuine care and compassion, or are you seeking approval or avoiding conflict? Being honest with yourself about your intentions can help you make choices that are aligned with your values and well-being. Kindness is a strength, not a weakness. It's a reflection of your character and your ability to see the humanity in others. But to truly embody kindness, you must first be kind to yourself. This means respecting your own needs, setting boundaries, and refusing to compromise your well-being for the sake of others' approval. When you operate from this place of self-respect and authenticity, your kindness becomes a powerful force that uplifts both yourself and those around you. Narcissists thrive on unchecked niceness because it provides them with the perfect opportunity to manipulate and control others. When someone is overly nice without setting clear boundaries, it becomes an open invitation for narcissists to exploit their kindness for their own benefit. Narcissists are skilled at identifying people who are eager to please, who struggle to say no, or who avoid conflict at all costs. They see these traits not as virtues, but as weaknesses they can take advantage of. Your niceness, when left unchecked, becomes a tool they use to manipulate your emotions, your time, and even your sense of self-worth. They will often push the limits of your kindness, testing how much they can take from you before you push back. And if you never push back, they will continue leaving you emotionally drained and questioning your own value. It's important to understand that their behavior is not a reflection of you, but of their own insecurities and need for control. Narcissists often lack empathy and are primarily focused on their own needs and desires. They manipulate through charm, guilt, or even intimidation, making you feel as though you owe them your time, energy, or resources. If you're someone who prides yourself on being nice, you may find it difficult to recognize when your kindness is being expressed. You may excuse their behavior, thinking they're just misunderstood or that they'll change if you're patient enough, but the truth is narcissists rarely change, and the more you give, the more they'll take. Unchecked niceness also enables narcissists to avoid accountability. When you're overly accommodating, you may hesitate to call them out on their behavior or set boundaries for fear of seeming unkind or creating conflict. This allows them to continue their toxic patterns without facing consequences. They may even use your niceness against you, accusing you of being selfish or unkind if you try to assert yourself. This emotional manipulation can create a cycle where you feel compelled to be even nicer in an attempt to fix the relationship or gain their approval. But no amount of niceness will ever satisfy a narcissist because their need for control and validation is insatiable. Breaking this cycle requires you to shift your perspective on what it means to be nice. Being nice doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being or allowing others to mistreat you. True kindness is rooted in strength and self-respect, and it includes the ability to set boundaries and say no when necessary. When you stop being overly nice and start standing up for yourself, when you disrupt the narcissist's ability to manipulate you, they may resist or try to guilt you into reverting to your old patterns, but standing firm in your boundaries is essential for protecting your emotional and mental health. It's also important to recognize that being nice doesn't mean you have to tolerate toxic behavior. You can be kind and compassionate while still holding others accountable for their actions. This balance is key to reclaiming your power and preventing narcissists from exploiting your kindness. By setting clear boundaries and refusing to enable their behavior, you send a message that you value yourself while not allow anyone to take advantage of your good nature. This not only protects you, but also sets an example for others, showing that kindness and strength can coexist. Unchecked niceness is not a virtue, it's a vulnerability that narcissists are all too willing to exploit. By recognizing this and taking steps to protect yourself, you can break free from their control and reclaim your sense of self-worth. Remember, your kindness is a gift, but it's one that should be given wisely and selectively. Saying no or standing firm in your values is not unkind. It's a necessary act of self-respect. Many people struggle with the idea of saying no because they associate it with rejection or confrontation, when in reality, setting boundaries is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for others. When you constantly say yes to everyone and everything, you end up overcommitted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your own needs and purpose. It's important to understand that saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who values their time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without boundaries, you risk losing yourself in the demands and expectations of others, which can lead to resentment, frustration, and burnout. Standing firm in your values is an extension of this self-respect. Your values are a reflection of who you are and what matters most to you. They guide your decisions, shape your relations, and define your sense of purpose. When you compromise your values to please others or avoid conflict, we're not only betraying yourself, but you're also sending a message that your beliefs and priorities are negotiable. This can lead to a cycle where people begin to take advantage of your flexibility, expecting you to bend to their will whenever it suits them. But standing firm in your values doesn't mean being rigid or unyielding. It means knowing where you draw the line and refusing to cross it even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Many people fear that saying no or setting boundaries will make them seem unkind, selfish, or unapproachable, but the truth is, boundaries are a form of kindness. They allow you to show up fully and authentically in your relationships without feeling drained or resentful. When you set boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also creating healthier dynamics with the people around you. Those who truly care about you will respect your boundaries, even if they don't always understand them. And those who don't respect your boundaries are likely the ones who benefited from your lack of them in the first place. It's also important to remember that standing firm in your values doesn't mean you have to be confrontational or aggressive. You can assert yourself with grace and compassion, communicating your needs and limits in a way that is clear and respectful. For example, if someone asks you to do something that goes against your values or priorities, you can say, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm unable to commit to that right now." This response is firm yet kind, and it leaves no room for guilt or manipulation. By practicing this type of assertiveness, you'll find it easier to navigate difficult conversations and maintain your sense of integrity. Another key aspect of standing firm in your values is learning to let go of the need for external validation. Many people struggle to set boundaries or say no because they fear being judged, criticized, or disliked. But seeking approval from others is a never-ending cycle that will only leave you feeling empty and unfulfilled. True self-respect comes from within, and it requires you to prioritize your own well-being over the opinions of others. This doesn't mean you should ignore feedback or dismiss others' perspectives, but it does mean that your sense of worth should not be dependent on their approval. Saying no and standing firm in your values are acts of courage and self-love. They require you to trust yourself, honor your needs, and believe that you are worthy of respect and consideration. By embracing these practices, you'll not only protect your own peace and happiness, but you'll also inspire others to do the same. And in doing so, you'll create a life that is aligned with your true self, a life that is grounded in authenticity, purpose, and joy, not just niceness. While being nice is often celebrated as a virtue, it can sometimes become a hindrance when it's not paired with the ability to discern who truly deserves your kindness. Discernment is the ability to see situations and people clearly, to evaluate their intentions, and to make decisions that align with your well-being and values. Without discernment, niceness can easily become a double-edged sword, leaving you vulnerable to manipulation, exploitation, and toxic relationships. It's not enough to simply be nice. You must also be wise about where and how you direct your kindness. Discernment allows you to recognize when your niceness is being taken for granted or used against you, and it gives you the strength to take action to protect yourself. You may find yourself giving endlessly to people who do not value or reciprocate your efforts. You might feel obligated to say yes to every request, even when it drains your energy or compromises your priorities. This is especially true when dealing with individuals who are manipulative or self-centered, as they often rely on others' niceness to get what they want. Discernment, however, helps you identify these patterns and empowers you to make choices that serve your best interests. It allows you to step back and ask yourself, is this person truly appreciating my kindness, or are they taking advantage of it? Does this situation align with my values and goals, or am I being pulled away from what matters most to me? Discernment also helps you understand that not everyone deserves access to your time, energy, or kindness. But it's important to treat everyone with respect and compassion. That doesn't mean you have to give everyone the same level of access to your life. Some people may only be interested in what they can gain from you, while others may genuinely care about your well-being and want to support you. Discernment allows you to differentiate between these two groups and to invest your kindness in relationships and situations that are mutually beneficial and uplifting. It's not about being judgmental or unkind. It's about being intentional and selective with your energy. One of the most powerful aspects of discernment is that it shifts your focus from external validation to internal alignment. Instead of trying to please everyone or meet others' expectations, you begin to prioritize what feels right and true for you. This doesn't mean you stop being nice. It means you start being nice in a way that is authentic and sustainable. You give because you want to, not because you feel obligated to. You help others because it aligns with your values, not because you're afraid of disappointing them. This shift allows you to maintain your kindness without compromising your sense of self. Developing discernment requires self-awareness and a willingness to reflect on your experiences and patterns. It involves asking yourself tough questions such as, why am I saying yes to this? Am I doing it out of genuine care, or am I trying to avoid conflict or gain approval? How does this decision align with my values and priorities? By taking the time to reflect on these questions, you can begin to make more intentional choices and to direct your kindness in ways that serve both yourself and others. Discernment also requires you to trust your instincts and to listen to the signals your body and mind are sending you. If you feel drained, uneasy, or resentful after interacting with someone, it may be a sign that your kindness is being misused or that you're giving too much. On the other hand, if you feel energized, fulfilled, and appreciated, it's likely a sign that your kindness is being received in a healthy and reciprocal way. Trusting these feelings can help you make decisions that protect your well-being and strengthen your relationship. Discernment is what transforms niceness into empowerment. It allows you to be kind without being a pushover, to give without losing yourself, and to love without sacrificing your own needs and boundaries. By pairing niceness with discernment, you can create a life that is both compassionate and balanced, where your kindness becomes a source of strength rather than a vulnerability. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential for maintaining your well-being and showing up as your best self for others. Many people struggle with the idea of prioritizing their own needs because they fear being perceived as selfish or neglectful. However, self-care is not about ignoring others or putting yourself above them. It's about ensuring that you have the physical, emotional, and mental resources to navigate life's challenges and support those around you. When you neglect self-care, you risk burnout, resentment, and a diminished capacity to give to others. Taking care of yourself allows you to be more present, patient, and compassionate, which ultimately benefits both you and the people in your life. Self-care is a deeply personal practice, and it looks different for everyone. For some, it might involve physical activities like exercise, healthy eating, or getting enough sleep. For others, it might mean setting aside time for hobbies, meditation, or spending quality time with loved ones. The key is to identify what recharges you and makes you feel whole, and to make those activities a priority in your life. It's important to remember that self-care is not a luxury or an indulgence. It's a necessity. It's the foundation upon which your physical and emotional health is built, and it's what enables you to handle stress, overcome obstacles, and maintain a positive outlook. One of the biggest barriers to self-care is the belief that it's selfish or indulgent. This mindset often stems from societal expectations or cultural norms that prioritize productivity and self-sacrifice over personal well-being. Many people feel guilty for taking time for themselves, believing that they should always be working, helping others, or meeting external expectations. But the truth is, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving without replenishing your own energy, you'll eventually reach a point where you have nothing left to give. Self-care is not about choosing yourself over others. It's about recognizing that you can't effectively support others if you're not taking care of yourself. Another common obstacle to self-care is the misconception that it requires a lot of time or money. While it's true that some forms of self-care, like spa days or vacations, can be expensive, there are countless ways to practice self-care that are simple, affordable, and accessible. Taking a walk in nature, reading a book, journaling, or even just taking a few deep breaths can all be powerful acts of self-care. The key is to find what works for you and to integrate it into your daily routine. Self-care doesn't have to be elaborate or time-consuming. It just has to be intentional. Setting boundaries is another crucial aspect of self-care. Many people struggle to say no or to set limits with others because they fear being seen as unkind or uncooperative. However, boundaries are essential for protecting your time, energy, and emotional health. They allow you to prioritize your own needs without feeling guilty or resentful. Setting boundaries might mean saying no to a social invitation when you're feeling drained, delegating tasks at work, or limiting your exposure to negative or toxic toxic people. While it can be uncomfortable at first, setting and maintaining boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to practice self-care. Self-care also involves self-compassion, the ability to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during difficult times. Many people are their own harshest critics, constantly judging themselves for their perceived shortcomings or failures. Practicing self-compassion means recognizing that you're human and that it's okay to make mistakes or to feel overwhelmed. It's about giving yourself the same grace and understanding that you would offer to a friend. Self-compassion is not about making excuses or avoiding responsibility. It's about acknowledging your struggles and treating yourself with the kindness you deserve. Self-care is about creating a life that supports your well-being and allows you to thrive. It's not a one-time event or a quick fix. It's an ongoing practice that requires intention, effort, and self-awareness. By prioritizing self-care, you're not only investing in your own health and happiness, but you're also setting an example for others. You're showing that it's okay to take care of yourself, to set boundaries, and to prioritize your own needs. And in doing so, you're creating a ripple effect that encourages others to do the same. Self-care is not selfish. It's a gift you give to yourself and to the world around you. Embracing personal growth requires a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone and confront the challenges that come with change. Growth is often uncomfortable because it pushes you to face your fears, overcome limitations, and adapt to new circumstances. However, personal growth is not a linear journey. It's a continuous process of learning, self-discovery, and transformation. By embracing this journey, you open yourself up to new opportunities, experiences, and perspectives that can enrich your life in profound ways. One key aspect of personal growth is self-awareness, the ability to understand your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and how they impact your life and relationships. Self-awareness allows you to identify areas where you want to improve and to take responsibility for your actions and choices. It also helps you recognize patterns that may be holding you back, such as negative self-talk, fear of failure, or unhealthy coping mechanisms. Developing self-awareness requires honesty, reflection, and a commitment to personal accountability. By becoming more aware of yourself, you can make intentional changes that align with your values and goals. Another important element of personal growth is setting and pursuing meaningful goals. Goals give you a sense of direction and purpose, providing motivation to keep moving forward even when the journey gets tough. However, it's important to set goals that are realistic, specific, and aligned with your values. Unrealistic or vague goals can lead to frustration and disappointment, while goals that don't reflect your true desires may leave you feeling unfulfilled. By setting goals that resonate with you and breaking them down into manageable steps, you can create a roadmap for growth that feels both achievable and rewarding. Resilience is also a crucial component of personal growth. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected changes, and resilience is what allows you to navigate these difficulties with strength and grace. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or pretending that everything is fine. It's about facing adversity head on and finding ways to adapt, learn, and move forward. Building resilience requires a combination of self-care, positive thinking, and a strong support system. It also involves embracing failure as a natural part of the growth process. Instead of fearing failure, view it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. Cultivating a growth mindset is another essential part of personal growth. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. This mindset encourages you to embrace challenges, persist in the face of obstacles, and view criticism as an opportunity for improvement. In contrast, a fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities are static and unchangeable, can lead to self-doubt, fear of failure, and a reluctance to take risks. By adopting a growth mindset, you can approach life with curiosity, optimism, and a willingness to learn from every experience. Personal growth also involves letting go of limiting beliefs and behaviors that no longer serve you. Limiting beliefs are often rooted in fear, insecurity, or past experiences, and they can prevent you from reaching your full potential. Examples of limiting beliefs include, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, or change is too hard. Overcoming these beliefs requires self-awareness, self-compassion, and a willingness to challenge the narratives you've internalized. By replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, you can create a mindset that supports your growth and helps you achieve your goals. Personal growth is about embracing the journey, not just the destination. It's easy to become so focused on achieving your goals that you lose sight of the progress you're making along the way. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and take time to appreciate the lessons you've learned and the person you're becoming. Growth is not about perfection, it's about progress. By embracing the ups and downs of the journey, you can cultivate a sense of gratitude, resilience, and self-acceptance that will carry you through life's challenges and opportunities. Personal growth is a lifelong process, and every step you take brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself.